Good morning. Somebody is tuned in, locked in back there. Somebody with a small voice. I love it. Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Dan. We are so glad you decided to worship with us today. If you're new here, I want to encourage you to fill out one of those red Connect cards located in front of you. Fill that out and drop it in an offering box on your way out. We'd love to get you connected and provide you with more info on what's going on here at Dresden. You can also check out today's paper bulletin or our website at Dresden.Church for updates and information. While you're here this morning, be sure to check out our front entryway, grab yourself some coffee, tea. I think there's still some donuts out there. Are there any donuts left, Max, or did you eat the rest of them? See, he can't even talk because his mouth's full. I got him at the perfect time. But yeah, go out, grab yourself some donuts, some coffee, make yourself at home. If you're interested in financially supporting the mission of Dresden, there's offering boxes located at each entrance of the sanctuary, or you can find us to give online. Well, this is something that I'm super excited about, that I'm really invested in, and I know a number of you are as well. But here at Dresden, we believe that we can build God's kingdom by strengthening families. And so in our current economic and social climate, it's no secret that families right here in our community are struggling financially, socially, and even spiritually. And that's where you come in. So we are serving Jesus on mission as we bless the students and families of the Tri-Valley Local School District with our annual Back to School giveaway. And so you have the opportunity to sponsor a local Tri-Valley student, or however many students you are willing to take, providing them with a backpack filled with all of their school supplies, a note of encouragement and prayer, and a chance to meet them and their families on August 18th at 7 p.m. We really want to encourage you that if you're going to sponsor a student, we want you there to establish that relationship with that family and show them what the love of Jesus looks like. And so right after church today, I want to encourage you to join us next door in the social room, fellowship hall, whatever we want to call it, to head on over there and pick up a packet. We'll sign your name so we know where to find you if you don't show up. But you'll find the name, the grade, the school, the personal interests of the kids, and the supply list for a student in the Tri-Valley District. And if you feel led to sponsor a child, we're asking that you provide every item on their list, with the exception of like one of those like $1,000 like graphing calculators. I think they were expensive when I was in school, and with inflation, they've got to be like a down payment on a house. But we are asking that you provide every item on their list, along with a new backpack and a personal note that lets them know that they have your support, they have Dresden.Church's support, and most importantly, Jesus' support as they return to school. And so I want to invite you to come on out August 18th, 7 p.m. right here, where you will personally give your student their supplies and send them off to a great school year. And so I want to encourage all of us to rally together and show the families of Tri-Valley what the extravagant love of Jesus really looks like. Let's invest in our village and really show out for this. I mean, we've had a ton of kids register, and so we're going to need everyone on board. Well, another thing I'm looking forward to, our Book of Revelation study is back at the end of this month, August 25th, 7 p.m. This is part 2 of this study, and even if you missed the first part, you'll be able to just jump right in and study the book without a problem. And I just love studying this book as a community because it's a book that is deeply misunderstood, can be scary if it's misunderstood, and we just had a great time in part 1, and we're going to dive on in, and that'll carry us through the fall. Well, today we're continuing our teaching series that we've called Storm Watch. If you have your Bibles with you today, we'll be in Matthew chapter 14 as we talk about what it is in our lives that keeps us in the boat and prevents us from walking on water. Well, we're so glad you're here today. If you're able to, go ahead and stand as we worship.
Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Let us pray. Dear Lord Jesus, I thank you for this morning. I thank you for the sunshine coming through those windows, and I thank you for the reminder of your love and your grace in us. And God, I just ask that you would be with each of us this morning as we listen to your word and we hear you through music and hear you through Dan's sermon, and that we would be able to feel you and know you this morning and open our hearts to hear you and to obey you. In your name we pray, amen. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love. Hitherto thy love has blessed me, thou hast brought me to this place, and I know thy hand will bring me safely home by thy good grace. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, he to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. Oh, to grace how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above.
Amen. You may be seated. Well, as we come now to God in a time of prayer, if you have a prayer concern or praise, I want to encourage you to fill out a prayer card. It's located in the seat in front of you. Fill that out and drop it in the offering box on the way out. And know today that as you go into your week, no matter what storm you might face, you don't face it alone. You face it with the prayers of a praying community, and you face it with the power of God that is there to carry you through, pick you up when you fall, and you don't have to be alone. Well, with that on our hearts and minds, we're going to sing another song, and we're going to go to God in a time of prayer.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art.
Let me pray for us. God, today we give you thanks. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we give you thanks for who you are. At your core, you are grace and you are truth. You are love and you are mercy. And God, in the midst of your greatness, your unending knowledge, presence, and power, and in spite of our fallenness and brokenness, God, you love us. Today we thank you for what Jesus has done for us. He saved us when we couldn't save ourselves. And today, Lord, it is my prayer that we would respond to your love by living as you have called us to live, not by our own power, but by yours. I pray for all of these folks here today that as they face different storms in life, as they face different situations and diagnoses, troubles, and even, Lord, moments of celebration, Lord, may they hear and may they know the words that Jesus gave to Peter in the midst of the storm. Do not be afraid. Lord, may we live that type of life where fear does not dictate our steps, but Lord, your power and your presence guides us, and that no matter what may come our way, we don't have to be afraid because nothing can separate us from your love. And so God, today, I lift these people up to you, those gathered in this place, those who aren't with us this morning, those who are worshiping with us online. God, may you speak to them today. Give them strength and healing. Give them courage. And Lord, forgive them and set them toward you. And so God, as we gather here today as one church and one people, we join together and we pray a prayer. Lord, we pray every Sunday, but God, it means so much. It speaks to your power and your provision. And it says, Lord, everything we'd ever need to say and gives it all to you. And so, Lord, we pray together the very prayer that your Son taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, well, at this time, if I could have all the kids join me up front. We're going to have a little chat, and then, of course, there's, like always, candy involved, right? All right, and then before you have a seat, I need everyone to come see me and grab a seashell. And there's plenty, so just one, not a whole handful. And here, if you're looking for a big one, this is a big one right there. Oh, that one, that's got some weight to it. That could be, well, I'm not going to say what that could be used as a weapon. Please don't use it as a weapon. All right, so go ahead and grab one and then have a seat.
Just fell out of it.
Okay, all right. Grab one and have a seat. All right. Nobody picked like these really like ugly old oyster shells. Oh, you did? All right, Thomas went with an oyster shell. All right, Gray. Gray didn't even get to pick his own. Sorry, bud. All right, Harvey. Do you need a seashell, bud? There you go, dude. I mean, you've got palm trees on your shirt. You have to. He's like, nope, I don't want it. He's like, take your seashells back, preacher. You're not winning me over that easy. All right. So how's everybody doing today? Good. All right. So this past week, I got to do one of my favorite things, and that was go to the beach. So here's the question. Well, there's only a few more weeks of summer left until this dreaded thing called school starts. And I don't know who's more upset about it, you or our teachers that we have in attendance today. But let me ask you this. What is one of your favorite things to do during summer? Yes. Doing a slip and slide. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Swimming in the pool. Yeah. Playing soccer. Okay. Yeah. Oh, non-stop Nerf gun battles. That is good. Yeah. Playing on the water slide. Yeah, Connor. Sleeping in. Okay, just stole that one, Hudson. All right. Yeah, Thomas. Playing baseball. Yeah, Hank. Oh, you got to go to Kings Island this summer? Awesome. Malia, how about you? Having pool parties and playing with Barbies. Do the Barbies ever have a pool party? No, I bet Malibu Barbie has endless pool parties. So, yes. Oh, yeah. So if you haven't seen me in a while, I did shave my head. Yeah. What do you think? Honest opinion. You like it? Okay. You know what? You're one of my favorites. You are. All right. So, guys, one of my favorite things to do during summer is, of course, go to the beach. And there's a lot of things that you can do at the beach. And all of these shells are evidence of one of my family members' favorite activities, and that is my mom. She's standing right over there. She will spend hours upon hours upon hours walking the beach and picking up seashells. Now, go ahead and pick up your seashell and take a look at it, and then look at your neighbor's seashell. And does anyone have the same shell as their neighbor? No? Does anybody have the same shell as any one of the other ones in here? Does anybody have the same shell as this shell? Okay, so similar, right? Okay, does anybody have the same shell as this beauty right here? Yes. Is it the same? It's close, but it's not the same, right? I think I have one of those. You have one of these at the house? Me too. Right? So what you'll notice very quickly is, Connor, dude, come on. Set the example for the little kids, all right? I know you're interested. He is amped about these seashells right now. But what you'll notice about these seashells, right, is every single one of them is what? Different. Right? Every single one of them is different. Now, how many of you grabbed a seashell that is broken? Raise your hand if you grabbed one that is broken. Okay, so a few of you. All right, how many of you grabbed a seashell or didn't grab a seashell and, like Gray, were assigned a seashell? How many of you grabbed a seashell that is just really pretty looking? Okay. How many of you ended up with an ugly seashell? Right? How many of you have a seashell that looks like it's been around for a long time? And it's been weathered, it's been beaten, it's been broken. There's probably been about 20 kids who have chucked it into the ocean, right? And so what you'll notice, though, is that all of these seashells, they're all different. Some of them are in better shape than others. All of these seashells have been kind of beaten up and weathered the storms. But you'll notice every single one of them is unique. And does anybody know who created them? God created them, right? And because God created them, they have distinct and incredible value. And did you know that we're a lot like seashells? Right? Some of us, we're all different, right? We're all unique. Some of us have some character. We've got bumps and cracks and bruises. And some of us have been around for a long time. But we all have, I wish you all could hear what I just heard. I'll say it. And we've all got cracks. Oh, man, yes, we do. We do, right? And because God created us with all of our differences and uniqueness about us, we have infinite value. And so right now we are going to pray and we're going to thank God that we all have value, that we are all loved, and that we all have cracks. Okay, let's pray. Dear God, we just thank you so much that even though we might be a little battered, broken, and worn out like a seashell, you love us because you've created us. We thank you for laughter. We thank you for cracks, and we thank you for your love. We pray it all in Jesus' name, and all God's kids said, Amen. All right, well, you can keep your seashell, and if you'd like a sucker, Mr. Dominic's got suckers this morning.
What beach did you go to?
We went.
Seashells and I go to
There were seashells? Oh, wow. That's awesome. Did you have fun?
and my mom saw she knows what sand dollar.
Your mom knows what a sand dollar is?
We have one at home.
Oh, that's awesome. Give me a high five. All right, kids. Well, once you get your sucker, you can go ahead and head on back to your seats. And parents, if you need your little one to get a little bit of extra wiggle room, we've got our nursery open and available to you next door. Well, as the kids head on back, I want to start with a story. When I moved into my church office, which is just right out here, some of you don't know where my church office is, but when I moved into my church office in 2020, the former pastor left entire bookcases full of books. Many of these books were on topics like organizational leadership and church growth and how to influence difficult people. And I looked through all these books and they just weren't my cup of tea. But as Jackie will tell you, I have an addiction to collecting books. And so I rifled through them trying to find a gem in the rough. And probably the best book that was left behind for me was an old copy of the Guinness Book of World Records. That was the best book I could find. You know, since I was a kid, I would get a hold of that thing and I would read it from cover to cover. I mean, I think every year for Christmas, my parents got me like the newest edition of the Guinness Book of World Records. And I was just enthralled, just blown away by the things that people were able to accomplish. For example, this man is in the Guinness Book of World Records, and his name is Roy Sullivan. And man, he really had to work hard for his record. He's been struck by lightning 7 different times in his life. So my recommendation is don't stand anywhere near him if you're at a party with Mr. Sullivan, okay? Take your life into your own hands. This woman's name is Elisa Kagoni, and she recorded the loudest burp in recorded human history. Okay, now, this burp was recorded at 107 decibels, which is the equivalent of putting your ear 3 foot from a jackhammer while it's breaking up concrete. Folks, her parents have to be proud, right? This guy's name is Michael Lolito, and Mr. Lolito claims to have eaten, and it's been documented, he ate 2 pounds of metal every day for the majority of his adult life. This is a true story. Let me just read a short list of the things that he has consumed over his life. And I promise I'm not making this up. You can go look him up right now. He has eaten 18 bicycles, 15 grocery carts, 7 televisions, 2 beds, a pair of skis, a small airplane, and this is ironic, a casket. Now, the last sentence in the article there in the Guinness Book of World Records, it says that Mr. Lolito died of natural causes in 2007. Yeah, sure he did, okay? You know, there's a family, they live in Columbus. They have 21 children of their own. 1 mom, 1 dad, and 21 kids. And one of their sons recently said in an interview, "My mom had a baby every 9 months and 30 minutes." And that is the best line that I have heard in a long while. You know, in honor of the amazing things that people pull off, one of my favorite accounts or channels on YouTube is an account called People Are Awesome. And I have like 30 seconds of one of those videos for your enjoyment. Take a look at this. Now this goes on forever, and I just get more depressed the more I watch it because I'm like, I can't do those things, right? In that short clip, did anybody get dizzy watching that? You know, when I was in high school, I had a wonderful English teacher. She inspired in me a passion for reading and writing. She was very talented, very likable, and I remember at the beginning of the school year, she gave this big impassioned speech to our class, and she said, "You can do anything you want to do in life. You can become anything you want to become in life." And I remember to this day sitting in that class thinking, hey, as much as I respect her, I disagree. Like, we're humans, right? We have limitations. We have constraints and restraints. There's only so much we can do and only so much we can become on our own. And that's why today I want to tell you why I believe that a friendship with Jesus is especially important. You know, maybe you remember about reading about the day that Jesus fed thousands of people with fish and bread. And at the end of that meal, he dismissed them and he told his 12 closest friends, he said, hey, get in a boat and go on over to the other side of the lake, and I'll meet you over there tomorrow morning. And as they did, Jesus goes up on this mountainside to pray and to spend some time alone. And probably after being around people for a really long time, he probably just went up there to catch his breath. And while he's up there, a storm sets in over the sea, and this squall hits the Sea of Galilee, and these are some dangerous storms that hit that lake. And he's watching as the disciples are about halfway across, and they're struggling to keep their boat afloat. And so Jesus, he makes the decision to go down and to help them. Now here's where things begin to turn, because he doesn't have the same limitations that we do, right? We'd have to hire someone with a boat to row us out there, or we'd have to find a kayak or a canoe and get ourselves out. But Jesus, he stands on the surface of the water and begins to walk on the water. And he takes one step after another until he's in eyesight of the boat. And one of the disciples, they spot him off in the distance and they scream out in Matthew chapter 14, "It's a ghost!" And rightfully so. I mean, like, none of us know anyone who can do what Jesus was doing. It would be scary for sure. And Jesus shouts back one of the most repeated phrases in the entire Bible that we would be wise to remember. It's Matthew 14, verse 27, where he says, "Don't be afraid." Now, let me contextualize that for us. Imagine you've gotten an invite to spend the evening down at a friend's river lot on the mighty Muskingum. And so you're out there with friends, the boats are out, maybe you're floating down the river in an inner tube, you're doing some fishing, you're pulling some kids on a tube, and someone then says, "Hey, there's a guy over there and he's walking on the water." And everybody, what do? They're getting their phone out, right? They're like, "Hey, I'm not missing this." They get their phone out. They get things ready. They're getting ready. They're taking video of it. They're ready to send it over to Zane's Viral or post it on the Dresden Facebook page. And this guy just keeps walking towards you. Not on the bank, but on the water. You're going to freak out, right? I don't care how cool, calm, and collected you are. You see something like that with your own eyes, and it's going to be unsettling. Like, I imagine if we saw that on the Muskingum River, our first thought would not be, "Hey, that's got to be Jesus." Our first thought would be, "What kind of drugs is this guy on?" Right? And from the inside of the boat, look what happens next in verse 28. Peter says this, "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, Tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Now, I was thinking about this story this past week, and I was also reading another book written by a famous historian and economist, and he basically proposes that in American history, every 80 to 100 years, we face a major crisis as a nation that causes us to reprioritize things in society. And basically, he's describing these once-in-a-generation storms that happen sociologically, and he begins in this book by unfolding a timeline. And he begins his timeline in the 1770s with the American Revolution. And he says, hey, what good came out of that bad conflict with Britain was the greatest experiment and expansion of Republican democracy the world has ever known. And then he moved to the 1860s and the American Civil War, and he said, the good that came out of that conflict in our nation was the abolition of slavery and the Industrial Revolution that completely changed and united our nation. And then he fast forwards to the 1930s and 1940s with the Great Depression and World War II. He says the good that came out of that terrible, bad global war was this economic superpower known as the United States. And we shared our wealth to bring peace and prosperity to a world that desperately needed to heal. And this is where I didn't like the book. Then he says, hey, we're on the brink of another one. And he calls it this fourth turning. And he says at some point in the 2030s, we're going to have to face another major crisis as a nation. Now, right now, like if you ask anybody, they'll probably tell you that we feel like we're standing on the edge of a waterfall. And something's going to push us over the edge. It might be some kind of economic collapse because the debt our nation has taken on and we can no longer sustain it. The author, he goes on to say, it might even be some kind of internal conflict like a civil war because of the political partisanship and how we're being pulled apart. We're having a wedge driven between us, or he says it could be a global war, which he claims is the most likely. I mean, just look to Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea and their attempts to destroy Western civilization as we know it. And I'm sitting here reading this kind of doom and gloom predictive scenario, and I thought to myself, if or when we get pushed over the edge of that waterfall, I just want to make sure that I'm in the boat with the guy who can walk on water. That's the key. And so let me draw out a few simple applications from Matthew 14 to put us at peace in the midst of the storm. The first one is that when Peter cried out, Jesus reached out. You know, if you ask me, I surely don't want our country to go through a financial collapse, a civil war, a global war. I don't want any of that. But if any of that happens, friends, we're okay. Because we have chosen to walk with the God who can walk on water. That being said, though, everywhere I go, and I mean everywhere, I'm hearing in conversations what psychologists refer to as catastrophic thinking. Catastrophic thinking happens when we begin to believe that extremely unlikely scenarios are going to become extremely likely outcomes. You know, to give you an example, think of it this way. Let's say you have a friend, and your friend goes through an ugly divorce. Their spouse cheated on them. And you, because of being in close proximity to that relationship breakup, you begin to look at your spouse suspiciously. And you begin to think, well, I wonder what they're doing when I'm not around. Even though they've given you no reason not to trust them. That's catastrophic thinking. Or you're a parent, and you hear about a car accident some kids got into after they were out partying, so you become like a private investigator, and you do it all with your phone, right? I mean, listen, my parents and like the generation that raised my generation, and some of you, man, you didn't have those tools at your disposal. My parents were just thankful that my grandfather was the town barber, and they knew that anything that I did was going to get back to the town barber, right? They couldn't follow me on a nap. But you hear word of this, and so you become this like phone private investigator. You go on social media, snooping around on what your kids are doing. You get every one of those like location apps you can possibly get, and you begin to look suspiciously at your kids. And guess what? It's good to be protective. Don't misunderstand me. But your kids, your specific kids, haven't given you a reason not to trust them. Well, let's just say, in another example, in your work environment, you have someone that you supervise, and it comes back to you that they're talking about you behind your back. And so you begin to think, well, everybody's talking about me behind my back. And you begin to see shadows with other employees to the point that you begin to manipulate, maybe even punish the whole organization. That's catastrophic thinking. And I have no doubt, in that boat that night, catastrophic thinking and fatalistic discussions were taking place. I mean, they're on the brink of drowning. You'd be terrified in that moment, and one of their own fishermen, who knows the sea, who knows better, he begins to step out of the boat. And can you imagine what the other guys were saying? Can you hear what they're saying in the boat? Like, hey, Peter, what are you doing? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Get back in here. We're already going to drown in the boat. You're definitely going to drown out of the boat. But Peter is operating by a different paradigm that they don't seem to have understood yet. And it's summed up in a single verse in the Bible. It comes from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. It is impossible to please God without faith. Now let me apply that collectively to us as a church. Anytime God nudges Dresden to do something risky, I know there's also potential for it to be catastrophic for us. Right? Like anytime we put a post out to the entire community that says, hey, we're going to buy your kids school supplies. Well, the next thing you know, that could be catastrophic because maybe we don't have enough people to provide school supplies to these kids. And so for me personally, when we do something risky, the first thing that I think we should all do is pray. And I pray, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray some more. And after 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, if God is still nudging, then we've got to dive right in. And I've seen that happen right here in this church. Big risks are always blessed by God with big reward every time. So we have to get comfortable with the idea that there are only two options when it comes to our relationship with Jesus. There's only two options. We can either be boat potatoes or wave walkers. That's it. Like those are the two options on the table. Everybody looks at Peter and they're like, Peter's a failure. He got out of the boat, he got scared, he didn't keep his eyes on Jesus, and he sunk into the water. But you know what? I don't see Peter as a failure because he sank when he walked out to Jesus on the water. I see the other 11 as failures because they didn't even try. So when it comes to us, whatever it is, Peter's the only one in the boat who can say, I walked on the water. And that's something. And we should want that too. Be a risk taker. Don't play it safe. Trust God in the midst of it all because He honors the risk with big reward. I like the way that writer John Ortberg describes it when he says this. See a middle-aged man who spends his night sitting in front of a television watching whatever sport happens to be on. He was once all fired up with bright plans for the future and strong yearnings to make his mark in the world. But somewhere along the line, all the fire went out, and he settled for comfort. His dreams were sacrificed to a lazy boy and flickering images on a screen. He is the story of unrealized potential, abilities and gifts that never get cultivated and deployed until weeks become months and months turn into years, and one day you're looking back on a life of deep, intimate, gut-wrenching, honest conversations you never had. Great, bold prayers you never prayed. Exhilarating risks you never took. Sacrificial gifts you never offered. Lives you never touched. And you're sitting in a recliner with a shriveled soul and forgotten dreams. And you realize there was a world of desperate need. And a great God calling you to be a part of something bigger than yourself. You see the person you could have become but did not. You never followed your calling. You never got out of the boat. A good friend of mine had his wife cheat on him and left him for another man, and he left the ministry that he was a part of because he thought that his divorce was going to disqualify him from serving in a church. Man, I remember one night I got a call from a mutual friend, and we gathered at our friend's house, and he's just crushed. And we gathered in his living room, and another pastor friend looked at this man, and he only said one thing. It was the only thing that was said the entire night, and it stuck with me. He said, "Failure is not fatal. Failure is forgivable. Failure is not fatal. Failure is forgivable." That's always true when you're following Jesus. And I'm so glad that my friend whose marriage fell apart, he took a season to rest and heal, which he needed to do, but he's now back in ministry. And who better to help other people who are struggling with a broken marriage than someone who's been through it? Someone who understands the ins and out of it. So friends, whatever it is in your past that Satan loves to bring into your present, remind him that it's already been forgiven by Jesus. Your failures are not fatal, they are forgiven. What Jesus wants to do then is to take it a step further. Not only does he want to leverage that for your good, he wants to leverage it for the good of other people if you're willing to share it with them. So be a good steward of your scars. Because Jesus invites you to take a risk. And if there's one thing that's going to keep you from getting out of the boat, it might be a past failure. And you shouldn't let that keep you from getting out of the boat. The next application I want to make is another simple one, and it's this. Peace, right? The peace that you hear me preaching that we can find in Jesus, the peace that we have in Jesus is not about the absence of storms, right? If you give your life to Jesus, guess what? You're going to have plenty of storms. Peace is not about the absence of storms. Peace is about the presence of Jesus in the storms. You know, someone told me last month, they said, "Dan, if you really want to challenge yourself and grow in your faith, do what you dread." You know, we don't use that word a lot, do we? Dread. But I think we should. Do what you dread. And they asked me, "Hey, what do you not want? What do you not want to hear someone say to you? Like, what is the worst news that anyone could give you?" And so over the last month, I've been asking people that same question. Many of you answer this question for me. I asked them, "What's the worst news you could ever receive?" And here's what some of them said. The worst news they could ever receive is, "I don't love you anymore. It's cancer. There's been an accident. Your son is addicted. I lost my job. We can't find a heartbeat. He took his own life. You're going to jail." For many of you, those are the storms you've weathered. And a lot of us are going to weather those same storms. You know, if you've ever seen the devastation and destruction caused by a tornado or a hurricane or tsunami, that's the way it feels emotionally when someone drops horrific news right in your lap. You just look at the debris, the landscape, and you wonder, how can anything good come out of this? And exactly in that moment of hopelessness and despair, that's when Jesus shows up and does his best work. Jesus wants to lead you away from the brokenness and in the direction of restoration. Now, to those same people that I asked, hey, what's the worst news that you could hear, or what's the worst news you have heard, I asked them, okay, what's on the other side of that? On the other side of your worst news, what do you find? And their answers were interesting. And some of you have been there. You now have peace and you now have hope. And I asked them, I'm like, what does peace and hope feel like? And immediately someone said, blue skies. And another said, a cool breeze on a sandy beach with a drink in my hand. Another said, a gentle rain on the front porch. Or probably my favorite one, they said, my family and friends that I have left gathered around my table. You see, pain won't last, and God won't leave. There's always something waiting on the other side of the storm, and I think it's why the scriptures quote God's word to us that says, I'll never let you down, never walk off and leave you. And friends, He's been true to His word. You've never spent a second of your life unnoticed. You've never spent a minute unloved. He's always near, and when you make mistakes, He's there, and guess what? He doesn't throw up His arms and turn around and walk off in frustration. No, He does just the opposite. He's a good dad. You remember, any of you ever helped a kid learn how to walk, right? What do? You give them your fingers. They hold on to your fingers and they walk, and eventually you realize, I can remove my fingers and let them walk on their own. And what do? Like, you know it's coming, right? They're going to fall. And you expect it. And so as they're teetering like those little ones do, you scoop them up, you steady them on their feet, and you encourage them to keep going, because you know eventually after walking, what do they learn to do? Run. And after running, there's jumping and all of these things to look forward to. And you know what? That's the way that faith works. God is with you, guiding, guarding, protecting, and He's also cheering you on. There's not a moment in your life where God throws in the towel or gives up on you. You know, one of the many reasons I love living in this region and so close to the Muskingum River is the morning fog that sets over the foothills and rolls across the river. Anybody of you get that dense fog alert this morning? I mean, God didn't have to make it so beautiful, did He? But He did so for our enjoyment. And this week, I got a little curious about fog. I'm such a nerd. And I ended up researching fog. And I thought, well, you know what? What if we wanted to cover Zanesville in dense fog? Like, what would you have to do? How much would you have to have? Like, to the point where you couldn't see anything. And I read that all you would need is 1 cup of water. I thought, you know what, that can't be true. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. And so I kept reading, and sure enough, if you want to cover 7 square blocks with dense fog, all you need is 1 cup of water. And I thought to myself, how could something so seemingly small and insignificant create something so distracting? Well, I'm glad you asked. And because I love you, I think many of you know what I'm going to say about distractions. And if there is anything that has clouded our vision of God and an accurate vision of who we actually are, it's this little device right here. I know you know the statistics, but I just want to remind you of a few things. 57% of teenage girls experience persistent feelings of hopelessness. And that number had doubled since we put forward-facing cameras on our phones. A researcher said this: 12-year-old girls spend hours each day taking selfies, editing selfies, and posting them for friends, enemies, and strangers to comment on, while also spending hours each day scrolling through photos of other girls and fabulously wealthy female celebrities with seemingly vastly superior bodies and lives. The hours girls spend each day on Instagram were taken from sleep, exercise, and time with friends and family. What did we think would happen to them? 8 to 12-year-olds are spending 5 hours a day on their phones. Teenagers are spending 8 hours a day on their phones, and it's not just negatively impacting them and their view of themselves and their relationship, but it's also impacting those of us who call ourselves adults. Listen to this. 77% of Americans between 35 and 54 years of age want to return to a time before society was always plugged in. A time before cell phones in our pockets ruled our lives. Anybody agree with that? I'm part of that 77%. You know, we were at the beach on a family vacation this past week, and this phone right here, it made a lot of people mad because I left it in my room and I didn't touch it the entire week. And I've not felt more relaxed and grounded and focused and present with my family than I have in a long time. And again, I love you. And I could build a very strong case that the reason why there is so much catastrophic thinking in our society is because of this. What am I doing here? I'm scrolling. The scrolling does one thing. It robs the peace that Jesus plants in our heart and the Holy Spirit cultivates and develops. And it replaces it with fear, worry, and anxiety. A massive study was done in our country on the subject of worry, where they had people write down all of the little things that they worry about in the course of a day. And they had them do this every single day for several months, and then researchers met with each individual that had kept a journal, and they said, okay, now let's calculate of all of those worries that you have recorded over these several months, let's calculate how many of those worries actually came true. And are you ready for this stat? The study said that 91% of what we worry about never happens. And then those of you who are really big worriers, you're like, but that leaves 9%. And it's the 9% that I'm worried about. But you know what? It reminds me of a great line from Mark Twain that says, I have been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. One of the worst things that could happen to you and me is that we live a life of mounting regret. 11 guys never got out of the boat. And I don't want that for any of you. Whatever your boat is, that's that little safe place that you're hiding in. Can I challenge you to get out of the boat and stretch yourself spiritually, get involved in one of our ministries, and actually serve someone and see what happens to your heart and your mind. If you're not involved in a small group, get in one of our groups, or you know what? Start one. I've got a ton of resources I can hook you up with. It will blow you away what friendship and connectivity will do with another human being. Or if you need to schedule time with a counselor to work through that thing in your past that keeps you from moving forward in the present, do it. Step out of the boat, and you know what? While it may seem counterintuitive, when you step out of that boat, it will maximize your peace. Just ask Peter. Let me leave you with this before we head into communion. This little guy's name is Dylan Stitch. He's 4 years old, and on the 4th of July, he worked up the courage and he told his family, I'm diving off the diving board. And they were blown away because up until this point, they couldn't even get him to step up on the diving board. They put those little floaties on him. They stood nearby to coach him. They even bribed him to follow through with it. Well, eventually, he stepped off the diving board in fear, worried about what might happen if he jumped off. Well, nearby on this 4th of July, under a shade tree in a lawn chair, was a 97-year-old man named Daniel Biss, a veteran of World War II, and he heard all of this ruckus. He got up with his cane, borrowed a pair of swimming trunks, and made his way to the end of the diving board. He was wobbling, off balance, needed a fair amount of help. It wasn't pretty, but he dove right on off into the pool. And I can tell you, what was likely that man's last dive led to a little boy's first dive. He understood an important lesson in life, and that is, kids don't need us to say, this is how you do it. They need us to show them, this is how you do it. Yeah, I'm telling you, the next generation is watching us. They watch how we act outside of this place. They watch how we worship inside of this place. And there is so much at stake for the church, so much at stake for our country, and they need us to show them this is how you live by faith. So if we want our lives to look differently and turn out differently than most people in our culture, we have to live differently. So as we move into this time of communion, I've only got one last challenge for you. And it's simple. Get out of the boat. Step out in faith and get out of the boat. And one thing that we have to know is that when we step out of the boat, we do so not by our own power, because by our own power we'll be like that little boy standing on the edge of a diving board, too afraid to take the plunge. But we do it with the power of Jesus that was sealed and confirmed for us by his body and his blood, his death on the cross and his resurrection. And one night, as Jesus and his disciples gathered in the upper room, Jesus took the bread and gave thanks. He broke the bread and he said, listen to this, this is my body broken for you. With all of your faults and failures, Jesus said, this is my body broken for you. Take and eat and do this in remembrance of me. And then shortly after the meal was over, Jesus took the cup, he gave thanks, and he blessed it, and he said, this is my blood poured out for the forgiveness of sins. For your sins, take, drink, and do this in remembrance of me. And after the meal was over, Jesus went to the garden to pray. And there in that garden, Jesus was arrested, unfairly tried, beaten, tortured, abused, and crucified on a Roman cross. And in that moment, for those 12 guys who were in that boat, when Jesus walked on the water, in that moment, all hope was lost. But 3 days later, the rest of the story began to unfold. Jesus rose from the dead, conquering sin, Satan, and death. And now today, he wants to do the same thing in your life. Not by your good behavior, not by your church attendance, not by how good of a person you were this past week and now you feel like you can slum it up a little this next week, but only by the resurrection power of Jesus can you be set free and can you finally step out of the boat and truly live. And so here in a moment, I want to invite every single one of you. Doesn't matter what church you belong to. It doesn't matter what church you don't belong to. It doesn't matter if you were wondering if the roof was going to collapse when you came in here this morning. All that matters is you are ready to receive what Jesus has already done for you. Forgiveness, freedom, victory over sin, Satan, and death. Let me pray for us. God, today we thank you for what you have done for us. Jesus died for us while we were sinners. And he rose from the grave, conquering sin, Satan, and death. And now you have offered that resurrection power so that we could live life not in the comfort of our boats, but Lord, out in the midst of the storm, peace in the midst of the storm, on the water with you. And so I pray today, Lord, that you would forgive us where we have failed you, and that you would set us free from our past and guide us into your future. God, we pray this all in the most holy name of Jesus. Amen. Well, as those who are going to serve make their way forward, like I said just a moment ago, all are welcome to come forward. And in just a moment, we'll work our way down the middle aisle, starting from the back and moving forward, and you'll receive a piece of bread. Take and eat that bread. You'll receive a little cup of juice. Take and drink that juice, and may you receive what Jesus has already done for you. All right. The table is set. Come and eat. let us give thanks to God as we stand and sing our final song.
He is Lord, He is Lord. He is risen from the dead and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. He is Lord. Christ is Lord.
11 guys never got out of the boat. I don't want that for any of you. So whatever your boat is, that little safe space that you're hiding in, can I challenge you to get out of the boat and follow Jesus? Live that this week. And if you fail at it miserably, guess what? When Peter called out, Jesus reached out, and he'll reach out to you as well. Amen. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to encourage you to head next door, sign up to sponsor a Tri-Valley Kid. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Jack.